Good morning, Miramar, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Tamara G. Don't forget, check us out on all of our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at City of Miramar. We all know it's right here in Miramar, and we also know that it's right here in our neighboring communities as well. And with me today, I have Adrienne Chadwick. She is the art manager at the Opelika Community Development Corporation. There is a big exhibit that's going on there right now. Actually, it's going to be going on throughout the summer, I believe. So we're going to talk to Adrienne about it. It's called Beyond Tradition. Welcome to the show, Adrienne.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Tamara.
Not a problem. So tell me, what is Beyond Tradition? Because I know it's looking at African sculpture, and how did you guys decide on this would be the art exhibit that you would go with?
Sure. So here at the Opelika Community Development Corporation, we have the Opelika Art, which is the Art and Recreation Center. And that space has been a community gallery, urban farm, and co-working space for the last 8 years or so.
Okay.
So we typically have about 2 to 3 exhibitions per year. We try to focus on local artists, artists of the Black diaspora, African diaspora. And this exhibition is very special because this is the first time that we are showing our newly acquired collection of African work. This collection was acquired by OLCDC in 2018 and 19. It comes from the collection of Bill Karg, who is a collector and art expert in African art, who had a commercial gallery space in New York City for many years. And he spent time on the continent, across the continent in the 60s and again in the 80s, and collected all of this work. And he decided that, he's kind of getting on in age, and he wants this collection to be somewhere in a space where it will be able to be viewed by the community and interacted with by the community. And so he and Dr. Logan, our CEO, decided that the work would come here. So we were able to take on a collection of 75 works of art. The Beyond Tradition exhibition is focusing on the sculpture in the collection. So it's about half of the collection, about 40 works. The entire collection includes artists from across the continent, but Beyond Tradition is focused on East African artists. Zimbabwe is one of the countries that we are looking at. And the Shona sculptures here in the background on the pedestals are the Shona sculptures. They're stone sculptures made by 3 generations of artists from Zimbabwe. And the works, which you cannot see right now, the wooden sculptures, which are on the ad, those are by the Makande people, and they are originally from Mozambique and immigrated north to Tanzania while making their wood carvings. And it's a kind of a family style making, instead of maybe we're used to an artist makes a piece and then puts that piece on the wall and signs their name on it. Mm-hmm. And that's how the Shona sculptures are here. But the Makande sculptures are made by a group of people, so that the youngest learner starts the wood sculpture, and the more knowledgeable sculptor finishes the sculpture. It's made by a family.
Well, I can tell you, Adrienne, I was sitting here, I was like, now she's in an art gallery. Obviously, she's the art manager. So she would be showing us the art and where we can go to see the exhibit. This is the prettiest background that anybody could have on Zoom or anything. I'm thinking, wow, that could really be a meeting background. It's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
How did they decide which items to sculpt? Like, what is there just something that you automatically say, I'm gonna make a sculpture of that, or does it just come to each artist, individually?
Different. The Shona sculpt. Can you hear the train going by?
I can, but it's fine.
So speaking of the train, you can take the tri-rail from wherever you are to Opelika CDC, and the train station is right across the street. And so
there you
can get here from public transportation.
There you go.
So basically, Beyond Tradition was curated by our resident curator, Tamelo Mosaka. Mm-hmm. He's a world-renowned curator who is from South Africa. He's been with us for at least 4 years. And he lives in New York City. So he comes down and works with us on curating these shows. I think that the Shona sculptures the reason why we're calling it Beyond Tradition is because the intention of the exhibition is to help the public understand that Africa is not a monolith, because we sometimes think of Africa as one place instead of 54 countries with, over 75 languages. And also because we kind of sometimes have this, this thought process about African art as being from the village, you know what I mean? And so these artists are all thinking about all different types of things. They're not only thinking about village life. They live in cities, they live in villages, they live in apartments, they live in the same way that we live, both rural and city living. And they're making art just like anybody else is, thinking of a concept. Some of the work is abstract, some of it is realistic. And so it's all very different, but it's all about Africa today. It's not about Africa in the past. And that's how museums and art spaces have kind of pigeonhole African art in the past. Tribal masks, they just think of that tribal mask. That's the only art that comes out of Africa. Yeah.
Right. And so you mentioned that you all received it in 2018, 2019, and y'all been holding on to it because apparently you guys couldn't, do the exhibit during this little thing we had called a pandemic. And so tell me a little bit about how particularly artists made it through these last 2 years, because if there's no exhibits, then artists can't get paid to show their works. And so what have you heard, and being an art manager, obviously you're in the arts yourself, what have you heard from the artists? Was starving artists really a true statement during the last 2 years?
I mean, I'm an artist and an art administrator, but an artist first. And I make my living by being an arts manager. I'm not a full-time artist, like many of the artists are, but I feel like artists were able to easily pivot their practice because artists are creative people and innovative people. But I think that they were able to, I think the whole community, nationally, state-wise, county-wise, city-wise, I think that everybody kind of got moved into action with supporting artists and offering grants, small mini grants. Like many different organizations offered COVID grants. OLCDC also offered funding for our community, non-artists, for everybody, to help with any needs, food or electricity bills or any of that sort of thing. But I also think that we learned as artists and arts programmers, arts administrators, that we can do things digitally. Before, from my whole 27 years of working at 6 museums over the last years, we've always thought we have to be engaging with the public in person. But this helped us learn that we can also engage with people just like we are right now on a Zoom call. And that helped OLCDC reach way more people. Instead of just reaching people in Opelika or in Miami-Dade County or in South Florida, we had programs that we were reaching people across continents and across countries. And that was a first for us. And so I think that, now coming out of the pandemic a little bit and being able to interact a little bit more, we're learning that even when we have in-person programs, that we need to continue to have these online programs at the same time, because then we can engage folks geographically in different places, but also people who don't have the time or don't have the access to be able to come out to the ARC to see our exhibitions.
And I was going to ask that question, Adrienne, as far as, will it just go back to being in person exhibitions, or will you continue the virtual? Because you're right, you can definitely touch more people, or people see it, on Eventbrite or whatever, and they just click on it and they see this same beautiful art that we're watching right now, but they're doing it from the comfort of their homes. Do you think there will ever be a time when we just go back to straight exhibits where it's only, people only, and you can only see it if you come to South Florida?
I mean, I think, it does take resources, time, money, people, power, in order to have this this multi-tiered programming, including in-person and digital engagement. And so I hope that we continue to do it as much as we can, but I have a feeling that as we get back to being COVID-free, it might just time and resources and money, might affect the fact that arts organizations may or may not continue to do it. And actually, I noticed that some organizations are opting out of doing virtual because they want that deep connection. They want to connect with people. They want it to be, a personable type thing, or they don't want their content. Sometimes artists or speakers ask not to have their panel discussion or their lectures published permanently online because they don't want something to be on the internet for forever.
Forever. I was gonna say ever in a day. Yes.
Yeah.
If you're just tuning in, first of all, welcome to Good Morning Miramar. I'm your host, Tamara G. We are speaking with Adrienne Chadwick. She is the arts manager at Opalaka Community Development Corporation, and they have this wonderful exhibit that is going on now. Is it through August, Adrienne? It's called Beyond Tradition?
Yes, the exhibition will be up through August 28th. We're open to the public every second Saturday from 1 to 5 without an appointment, but any other day of the week, we're open by appointment. So you go to olcdc.org/Beyond Tradition, and there's a calendar where you choose your date and your time, and we meet you here.
Okay, great. And of course, this exhibition challenges Western cultural norms and perspectives of what contemporary African art is by presenting these African sculptures, and they are from different areas of Africa, as Adrienne had mentioned. I wanted to talk about the arts in general. As an arts manager and an artist yourself, you know that there really aren't any arts in the school anymore. And when I say any arts, I mean no arts, no graphic arts, singing, dancing, band, none of they've taken the arts out. How is that going to impact the future of the arts? Because kids aren't learning it. They aren't learning anything about it. Or will talent automatically just shine regardless?
I mean, talent, particularly folks from the African diaspora, we're innovators. Like we're the people who come up with all the ideas, and then the corporations, kind of appropriate those ideas, like since forever, since jazz music, rock and roll, everything. But I do think that our society, we really need to rethink that lack of arts in education, because even theater, like having a student be able to now students these days are online on Zoom, on the phones and the devices all day long. And so I've noticed in my generations a difference in the way that people are able to communicate, make eye contact, connect with other humans, And so things like a theater class or performance class is so critical to young people engaging in society and being able to articulate their ideas, or to be able to communicate an idea, or protect themselves even from people in power that might be telling them what to do, teachers or whoever. I think it's important for visual literacy, because young people are preyed upon by the media, based on nutrition and based on consumerism and all of these things. I mean, in order to have a decision-making process and to have visual literacy is critical in that way. It also increases so many things academically, such as problem solving, communication, empathy, understanding each other. And art is really art shines a mirror on our society. Artists are showing our society, what we're doing and what we've done throughout time. And so I think that art will prevail always. And I think that artists will always be making art. And I don't think we need to think of art as a paintbrush and a canvas. Young people are making art on their phones. TikTok and all these things that as we get older, we think, oh, these young people are, just doing TikTok, or they're just on the social media. That's an art form. Everything that everybody does, the way that you dress, the way that the decisions that you make aesthetically, that's all art. And I think we have to, engage and empower young people that they are creative, that everybody's creative.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because there also is the big push in schools to include the arts in the STEM learning. And so to make it STEAM learning. And I mean, I can see that because literally everything that is created has some type of art related to it. The design that is made, the colors that are used, the font that is used to sell whatever it is that you're putting on your body and walking around in. So that, which is graphic art, everything has an art piece. But why is it that art is being treated like the stepchild in the STEM program? And it should have been STEAM from the beginning, but go ahead.
I think people don't realize that art is, being an artist doesn't mean that you're at a canvas with a paintbrush. Graphic designers, motion graphic designers, filmmakers, clothing designers, architects,
Makeup
artists, fashion artists, there's just, it goes on and on and on. It's not only those traditional art forms that include art. All those other things are creative careers. And I think that people just think starving artists, like you started the segment with, right. And it's not. Schools like Savannah College of Art and Design and commercial art schools are showing young people how to use art as a career. And even if you are a traditional artist, there's different ways of selling these days. You don't have to have a gallery. You can sell online, and you could sell through social media, and you could sell in many different ways. And so, I don't remember what your original question.
The question was about why is art being seen as the stepchild, or people are reluctant to include art in the STEM.
It's just this stigma, I think, that happens. But what about NFTs also? Like, look at where art is going with the NFTs. That's digital and STEM based art. And it's making lots of money, and it's making a big splash right now. Like, who knows, in the future, maybe all art, instead of seeing canvases or drawings on the wall, maybe all art will now be digital art that you're looking at on a screen.
Right. And I thought about what are the things they put over your eyes, the
virtual reality, AR.
Reality. I mean, just hairdressers. They're the quintessential nail people and pedicures and stuff. I mean, some of the designs I see on people's nails, I'm like, wow, somebody actually, sat and did that. That's pretty nice. So art is everywhere, people, in case you didn't know it. And it's also in Opelika at the Opelika Community Development Corporation. So tell us once again, Adrienne, how people can go to see Beyond Tradition and see these beautiful sculptures, and how you all have that there at the art exhibit, because I'm telling you, it looks like a Zoom background. It's so pretty.
Thank you. So the Opelika Arc is located at 675 Alibaba Avenue, Opelika, Florida, 33054. You can also visit olcdc.org/Beyond Tradition in order to schedule your calendar date and time to come and visit the Arc. We're also here every second Saturday from 1 to 5, and we will have various programs coming up, like an Afrobeats dance party coming up, an African marketplace. We're trying to get an Ethiopian coffee ceremony happening here, because that's an East African country, and we're focused on East Africa here, and some hands-on art workshops also. All right. And we're here until August 28th.
August 28th. So check it out, Beyond Tradition. And again, if you want more information, OLCDC, Opelika, cdc.org, olcdc.org /Beyond Tradition. You can always go to the website to find out those hours. Of course, it's located at 675 Alibaba Avenue in Opelika. And thank you so much, Adrian. I'm sure you guys are going to be having more exhibits to come through, and we would love to have you on again because we definitely want to encourage people to love the arts in any shape, form, or fashion. This would be great for kids to come and teachers to bring their children, their kids, as well as adults, or just anyone who wants to know more about Africa, and as well as these beautiful sculptures that you have here.
Thank you so much, Samara.
You're welcome. And thank you for watching Good Morning Miramar. Again, thank you to Adrian Chadwick. She is the arts manager at the Opelika Community Development Corporation. That website again, olcdc.org, OL for Opelika, cdc.org/Beyond Tradition, or just go to the website and find out their hours and how you can get in to see this exhibit before it's gone in August. Thank you so much for watching Good Morning Miramar. Until next time, I'm Tamara G. See ya.